Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shri Gurudev ki jai. Nityrupa Vishnu Vishnupada Shatarashatashmad Shri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Nityrupa Vishnu Vishnupada Shatarashatashmad Shri Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nityrupa Vishnu Vishnupada Shatarashatashmad Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Nityrupa Vishnu Mahabhagavat Shri Goksharas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nityrupa Vishnu Shri Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nityrupa Vishnu Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dashagunath Sharda Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namachay Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Shri Radha Kund Shama Kund ki jai. Shri Mona Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yoga Maya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Shri Parshva Akadashi Titi ki jai. Akadashi Titi Palan Kari Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Shri Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Iti Namine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo mahavadanyaya Krishna prema pradayate Krishnaya Krishna chaitanya namne gauratishe namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Yam Pravrajantam Anupetam Apeta Krityam Dvaipayano Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putreti Tanmayataya Taravo Bhinedu Stang Sarva Bhuta Hridayam Munimanatosmi. Narayanam namaskritya narang chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet. Shrinvatang swakata Krishna punya shravana kirtana hridantasto yabhadrani vidhunoti suritsatam. Nashta prayeshvabhadreshu nityang bhagavata sevaya Bhagavatuttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. Tavai vasmi na jivami tvaya vina. Iti vigyaya radhe tvam nayamam charanantikam. Bhakta vihina aparada lakshay kshiptashtakama ditaranka madhe. Kripa mai tvam sharanam prapanna vrinde namaste charana ravindam. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All right, so now we're going to be reading about the appearance of the demon Vṛtāsura. It's been a while. We missed 3 days of reading. Oh, let's see who's all there also. Haribo, Rukmanjari Didi, Dandavat Pranams, Ganga Didi, Dandavat Pranams, Prajumna Prabhu, Mantarmurti Mataji, Dandavat Pranams, Gargaraji, Raseshwari Mataji, Dandavat Pranams to all of you. Haribo. Yeah, isn't my Tulsi Devi getting so big? She was just not so long ago. She was just, tiny. And now she's actually, if I turn her sideways, you'll see she's even spreads out further. Anyways. All right. So where am I? Oh yeah. So since we've had such a big break. What was it? Like 3 or 4 days since we've read Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So I thought I would read from this Bhagavat Pravaha just to bring us back up to where we are. So the gravity of Vaishnav Aparad and the extent of Vaishnav compassion. So how did this end? 1 second. All right, so after the whole story of Ajamil, Yamaraj considered himself and his servants to be offenders and begged forgiveness from the Supreme Lord for mistreating Ajamil out of ignorance. Since then, as soon as the Yamadutas see a devotee, they flee, not daring to look at them again. Now, the gravity of Vaishnava Parad and the extent of Vaishnav compassion. Parikshit then inquired about the other aspects of Visarga, like the creation of the demigods, the demons, humans, birds, and beasts. Shukadev described the creation done by Daksha in his second birth as the son of the Prachetas, of the dynasty of Uttanapad. Anyways, whatever. Daksha filled the 3 worlds with various types of living entities. But when he saw that the population was not increasing, once again, Daksha being engaged in austerities from the 3rd and 5th manvantaras. The 6th manvantar. Okay. I just wanted to see that footnote. Close. Okay. So Daksha filled the 3 worlds with various types of living entities, but when he saw that the population was not increasing, he went to the Vindhya mountains and performed austerities. He chanted the Hamsa Guhya prayers, in which he glorified Lord Vishnu as the omniscient supreme controller and friend of all beings. Lord Vishnu appeared before Daksha and said, "Your life is successful because of your austerities, devotion, and faith in me. Brahma, Shiva, the Manus, the demigods, and you Prajapatis are working for everyone's welfare by increasing the population. Accept Asikni, the daughter of Prajapati Panchajana, as your wife, and beget hundreds of children in her womb." Lord Vishnu then disappeared. Though the Lord mercifully showed his form to Daksha, he cast Daksha into the path of karma and material enjoyment, and not in the sweet ocean of his prem. This was because of Daksha's previous offense to the great devotee Shiva. Daksha then begot 10,000 sons called the Haryashvas and ordered them to beget children. They all went to Narayan Saras to perform austerities for purification before entering the household life. One day, wanting to protect the Haryashvas from getting entangled in family life, Narad Muni approached them, appreciating them to be pure-hearted and qualified for liberation. Narad presented to them an allegory that indirectly described the situation of the jiva and the material world, and about the eternal spiritual world, the Supreme Lord, the time factor, and the ultimate message of the scriptures to renounce material activities and take to bhakti. The Haryashvas deeply contemplated on Narad Muni's words, and all of them took to renunciation. Daksha lamented about the renunciation of the Haryashvas. Brahma pacified Daksha, who then begot 1,000 sons called the Savalashvas. The Savalashvas also went to perform austerities, and by the influence of Narad Muni, they too took to renunciation like their elder brothers. After this, Narad considered, many persons in the dynasty of Manu, Priyavrata, Uttanapad, Dhruva, Prachini Barhi, the Prachetas, Haryashvas, and Savalashvas, attained the Lord by my efforts. Why should only Daksha remain in this material world? I must deliver him also. Hearing that his sons have renounced, Daksha will develop a detachment. Now is a suitable time to give him spiritual knowledge. Thinking thus, Narad went to see Daksha. Seeing Narad, Daksha became furious with him. You are an impostor, an asadu. You are sin personified. You are shameless, breaker of friendships, devoid of mercy, and you defame the Supreme Lord. Knowledge brings real detachment, and not by merely changing dress like you. Knowledge brings real detachment, not by merely changing dress like you. According to me, personal experience of the misery of false happiness will naturally induce a detachment, more so than a change of mind induced by others, like what you did to my sons. You might have been forgiven once for displeasing an honest householder like me, but you have again created the same misfortune for me. I curse you to keep traveling all over the universe and never find a permanent residence. Though capable of counter-cursing Daksha, saintly Narad tolerated and accepted the curse. Narad could have left immediately, but he thought, let Daksha exhibit his anger on me. When his anger subsides, then he will repent for his misbehavior. Then he will be a suitable field for me to sow the seed of pure bhakti. Narad thus remains there for the suitable moment. But seeing that Daksha was not repentant, he then left thinking, oh, what power the remnants of offenses to Lord Shiva have. Daksha became disgusted with household life, but Brahma instructed him to beget children again. This time, Daksha was very cautious to beget daughters instead of sons, so that Narad would not disturb them for accepting the renounced order. Daksha begot 60 daughters. 10 of them were married to Yamaraj, 17 to Kashyapa Muni, 27 to the moon god, and 2 daughters each to Bhuta, Angira, and Krishashva. These daughters gave birth to various types of demigods, birds, serpents, aquatics, animals, apsaras, rakshasas, gandharvas, and so on. One of the daughters of Daksha, named Aditi, was married to Kashyapa and gave birth to the 12 Adityas. One of them, named Twashta, married Rachana, the daughter of the demons, and she begot 2 sons named Sannivesha and Viśvarūpa. Although Viśvarūpa was the son of the daughter of demons, the demigods accepted him as their priest when they were abandoned by their guru Brihaspati, whom they had disrespected. And that was all on Brahma's order, wasn't it? The gravity of offense to guru. Parikshit asked Shukadev, why did Brihaspati reject the demigods? What was their offense to their guru? Shukadev Goswami narrated as follows. Once, Indra sat on his throne in the heavenly assembly, surrounded by Maruts, the Vasus, Gandharvas, Apsaras, and so on. At that time, Brihaspati arrived there. Although Indra saw him, he didn't rise from his seat to honor him or to extend a welcome to him. Understanding Indra's pride and his opulence, and desiring to set him on a corrective course, Brihaspati silently left the assembly. Indra immediately realized that he had disrespected his guru, and he condemned himself in the presence of the other demigods. He wanted to bow down at the feet of his guru, but despite searching vigorously, he couldn't find Brihaspati, who disappeared by his mystic power. Hearing of Indra's pitiable condition, the demons attacked the demigods, following the instructions of their guru, Shukracharya. The demigods then approached Brahma, seeking his direction. Brahma chastised them. Due to the madness of material opulence, you failed to receive Brihaspati properly. Due to this misbehavior, you who are strong have been defeated by the weak demons. Their strength is due to worshipping their guru. Now you accept Viśvarūpa, the son of Twashta, as your guru. He will fulfill your desires, provided you tolerate his inclination to the demons. Let's see if they follow what Brahma said here, if they tolerate his inclination to the demons. The demigods then approached Viśvarūpa and requested him to become their priest. Viśvarūpa happily agreed and taught Indra the Narayan Kavacha. Narayan Kavacha is a prayer that invokes the protection of various forms of the Supreme Lord, including Matsya, Vaman, Nrsimha, Varaha, Parshuram, Rama, Balaram, Kurma, and so on, for protecting the devotees from various evil forces at different places and at different parts of the day. This also includes prayers to the Lord's weapons, namely the disc, club, conch, sword, and shield. Having received this secret hymn, Indra conquered the demons and enjoyed all the opulence of the three worlds. Okay, so that's where we read up to. So due to Viśvarūpa's help and giving him the Narayan Kavacha, Indra conquered the demons and enjoyed all the opulence of the three worlds. Now let's see Indra's gratitude to Viśvarūpa for this. Indra always makes me really angry. But we're not supposed to criticize the demigods. But yeah. Every time Indra is ever brought up, it's always like in a very negative way, it seems like. Chapter 9. But I don't like that font. What's a good font? I like Georgia. Let's try Georgia today. Appearance of the demon Vṛtāsura, chapter 9. Let me just check connection's okay. Looks like it. Rupa was saying, you're reading the other day that Viśvarūpa is Ganesha's father-in-law. Interesting. Riddhi and Siddhi are Ganesha's wives. Also, Viśvarūpa transforms into birds and he transforms I to birds. Anyways, he transforms Indra into. Anyways, I don't understand that. So even though Indra, he transforms Indra to birds, I think, and it's completely destroyed. So even though Indra doesn't kill him, he still commits the sin of attacking his guru. Okay, Viśvarūpa turns into birds, and it's okay. Dandavat pranams Madhavi Didi. Dandavat pranams Yash Ji. Okay, I won't give it away, Manjari. We're going to read it right now. Well, I think Srila Prabhupada's going to give it away right here. So, appearance of the demon Vṛtāsura. As described in this chapter, Indra, the king of heaven, killed Viśvarūpa. Yep, in the first sentence. And therefore, Viśvarūpa's father performed a yajna to kill Indra. When Vṛtāsura appeared from that yajna, the demigods, in fear, sought shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and glorified him. Because of affection for the demons, Viśvarūpa secretly supplied them the remnants of yajna. When Indra learned about this, he beheaded Viśvarūpa, but he later regretted killing Viśvarūpa because Viśvarūpa was a Brahman. Although competent to neutralize the sinful reactions for killing a Brahman, Indra did not do so. Instead, he accepted the reactions. Later, he distributed these reactions among the lands, water, trees, and women in general. Isn't that so unfair? That's interesting, man. Since the land accepted 1/4 of the sinful reactions, a portion of the land turned into desert. The trees were also given 1/4 of the sinful reactions, and therefore they drip sap, which is prohibited for drinking. Does that mean we're not supposed to take dategourd and maple syrup? Because women accepted 1/4 of the sinful reactions, They are untouchable during the menstrual period. Since water was also infested with sinful reactions, when bubbles appear in it, water cannot be used for any purpose. After Viśvarūpa was killed, his father, Tvashta, performed a sacrifice to kill King Indra. Unfortunately, if mantras are chanted irregularly, they yield an opposite result. This happened when Tvashta performed this yajna. While performing the sacrifice to kill Indra, Tvashta chanted a mantra to increase Indra's enemies. But because he chanted the mantra wrong, the sacrifice produced an asura named Vṛtāsura, of whom Indra was the enemy. When Vṛtāsura was generated from the sacrifice, his fierce features made the whole world afraid, and his personal effulgence diminished even the power of the demigods. Finding no other means of protection, the demigods began to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the enjoyer of all the results of sacrifice, who is the supreme throughout the entire universe. The demigods all worshipped him because ultimately, no one but him can protect a living entity from fear and danger. Seeking shelter of a demigod instead of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead is compared to trying to cross the ocean by grasping the tail of a dog. A dog can swim, but that does not mean that one can cross the ocean by grasping a dog's tail. Being pleased with the demigods, the Supreme Personality of Godhead advised them to approach Dadichi to beg him for the bones of his own body. Hey, Dadichi, can we have your bones? Dadichi would comply with the request of the demigods, and with the help of his bones, Vṛtāsura could be killed. Okay. Did I shut up the comments? Yeah, okay, cool. Okay. Text 1, Shishuka Uvacha, and it's already 7:25, so we might not make it up to verse 30, like I wrote we would. Shishuka Uvacha, Tasya san Viśvarūpasya, Shirangsi Trini Bharata, Somapitang Surapitam, Anadam iti Shushruma. Shri Shukadev Goswami continued, Viśvarūpa, who was engaged as the priest of the demigods, had 3 heads. He used one to drink the beverage somaras, another to drink wine, and the third to eat food. This is my wine head, this is my somaras head, and this is my food head. O King Parikshit, thus I have heard from authorities. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. One cannot directly perceive the kingdom of heaven, its king and other inhabitants, or how they perform their various engagements, for no one can go to the heavenly planets. Although modern scientists have invented many powerful space vehicles, they cannot even go to the moon, not to speak of other planets. By direct experience, one cannot learn anything beyond the range of human perception. One must hear from authorities. Therefore, Shukadeva Goswami, a great personality, says, What I am describing to you, O King, is what I have heard from authoritative sources. This is the Vedic system. The Vedic knowledge is called Shruti because it must be received by being heard from authorities. It is beyond the realm of our false experimental knowledge. Savai barhishi devebhyo bhagam pratyakshamuchakai adadar yasya pitaro devasang saprashrayam nripa. O Maharaj Parikshit, the demigods were related to Viśvarūpa from his father's side, and therefore he visibly offered clarified butter in the fire while chanting mantras such as Indraya idang swaha. Indraya idang swaha. This is meant for King Indra, and idam agnaye. This is for the demigod of fire. He loudly chanted these mantras and offered each of the demigods his proper share. Sa eva hi dado bhagam paroksham asuran prati yajamano bahar bhagam matri sneha vashanuga. Although offering clarified butter into the sacrificial fire in the name of the demigods Without knowledge of the demigods, he also offered oblations to the demons because they were his relatives through his mother. Purport. Because of Viśvarūpa's affection for the families of both the demigods and the demons, he appeased the Supreme Lord on behalf of both dynasties. When he offered oblations in the fire on behalf of the Asuras, he did so secretly, without the knowledge of the demigods. But come on, Brahma told him that he was also going to be inclined to the demons. And said that, anyways, Tadeva Hiranam Tasya Dharma, and also Viśvarūpa, sorry guys, Viśvarūpa just helped. It was because of Viśvarūpa that the demigods were able to defeat the demons. Without Viśvarūpa, they wouldn't have been able to defeat the demons. The demons would be in control. Tadeva Hiranam Tasya Dharmalikam Sureshwara Alaksha Tarasa Bhitas Tachirashanyat Achinar Rusha. Once upon a time, however, the king of heaven, Indra, understood that Viśvarūpa was secretly cheating the demigods by offering oblations on behalf of the demons. He became extremely afraid of being defeated by the demons, and in great anger at Viśvarūpa, he cut Viśvarūpa's 3 heads from his shoulders. Somapitam tu yattasya shira asit kapinjala kalavinka surapitam anadam yatsatitiri. Thereafter, the head meant for drinking somaras was transformed into a kapinjala, a francolin partridge. Oh, what's a partridge? Like a partridge and a pear tree. What is it? A short-tailed game bird with many brown plumage, found chiefly in Europe and Asia. I'm just curious what kind of bird that is. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, we have tons of these birds all over. Yeah, there's tons here in Navadvip with these birds. Okay. And similarly, the head meant for drinking wine was transformed into kalavinka, sparrow. And the head meant for eating food became a titiri, a common partridge. All right. Brahmahatyam anjalina jagrahayad apishvara samvatsarantitar agham bhutanam savishuddhaye bhumambu trumayoshidbhyash chaturdha vyabhajadhari. Although Indra was so powerful that he could neutralize the sinful reactions for killing a Brahman, he repentantly accepted the burden of these reactions with folded hands. He didn't accept them, he distributed them. He suffered for 1 year, and then to purify himself, he distributed the reactions for the sinful killing among the earth, water, trees, and women. That's not considered repentantly accepting the burden of the reactions. If you just 1 year later distribute them to make everybody else have to suffer for them. Bhumisturiyam jagraha katapura varenavai hirinam brahmahatyaya rupam bhumau pradrishyate. In return for King Indra's benediction that ditches in the earth would be filled automatically, the land accepted 1/4 of the sinful reactions for killing a Brahman. Because of those sinful reactions, we find many deserts on the surface of the earth. Purport. Because deserts are manifestations of the earth's diseased condition, no auspicious ritualistic ceremony can be performed in a desert. Persons destined to live in deserts are understood to be sharing the reactions for the sin of Brahmahatya, the killing of a Brahman. One time I was in a desert in a place named Kishkinda, And we performed the yajna because there was a drought and no rain, and all the crops died, and the farmers asked us to do a yajna. And we did a yajna there, and immediately after the yajna, it started to rain. Like, it's right at the end of the yajna. It's pretty amazing. All right. Turyam cheda virohena varyena jagrihur druma tesham niryasarupena brahmahatya pradrishyate. In return for Indra's benediction that their branches and twigs would grow back when trimmed, the trees accepted 1/4 of the reactions for killing a Brahman. These reactions are visible in the flowing of sap from trees. Therefore, one is forbidden to drink this sap. Shashvat kama varenang has turyam jagrihur striya rajarupena tasvangho masi pradrishyate. In return for Lord Indra's benediction that they would be able to enjoy lusty desires continuously, even during pregnancy, for as long as sex is not injurious to the embryo, women accepted 1/4 of the sinful reactions. As a result of those reactions, women manifest the signs of menstruation every month. So you have Indra, all women have Indra to thank for their menstrual period every month. Thanks, Indra. Purport. Women as a class are very lusty, and apparently their continuous lusty desires are never satisfied. In return for Lord Indra's benediction that there would be no cessation to their lusty desires, women accepted 1/4 of the sinful reactions for killing a Brahman. Drava bhuyo varenapas turyam jagrihur malam tasu budbudapena drishtang tad dharati kshipam. And in return for King Indra's benediction that water would increase the volume of other substances with which it was mixed. Water would increase the volume of other substances with which it was mixed. Water accepted 1/4 of the sinful reactions. Therefore, there are bubbles and foam in water. When one collects water, these should be avoided. Purport. If water is mixed with milk, fruit, juice, and other similar substances, it increases their volume, and no one can understand which has increased. In return for this benediction, water accepted 1/4 of Indra's sinful reactions. These sinful reactions are visible in foam and bubbles. Therefore, one should avoid foam and bubbles while collecting drinking water. But we could still have fizzy drinks, right? Fizzy water. What is it called? It's not talking about those kinds of bubbles. It's talking about Hatta putra sutatvashta juhavendraya shatrave indra shatra vivardhasva machiram jahi vidvisham. After Viśvarūpa was killed, his father, Twashta, performed ritualistic ceremonies to kill Indra. He offered oblations into the sacrificial fire, saying, "O enemy of Indra, flourish to kill your enemy without delay." Purport. There was some defect in Twashta's chanting of the mantra because he chanted it long instead of short, and therefore the meaning changed. Twashta intended to chant the word Indra Shatro, meaning "O enemy of Indra." In this mantra, the word Indra is in the possessive case, Shashti, and the word Indra Shatro is called a Tat-Purusha compound, Tat-Purusha Samas. Unfortunately, instead of chanting the mantra short, Twashta chanted it long, and its meaning changed from the enemy of Indra to Indra, who is an enemy. Consequently, instead of an enemy of Indra's, there emerged the body of Vṛtāsura, of whom Indra was the enemy. Atanvaharya panchanad Uttito ghora darshana Kritanta ivalokanam Yuganta samaye yata. Thereafter, from the southern side of the sacrificial fire known as Anvaharya, came a fearful personality who looked like the destroyer of the entire creation at the end of the millennium. I'm going to take it out of this view because for some reason it skips verses. Vishvagvidharmanam, Vishvagvivardhamanam tam Ishumatram dine dine Dagda shaila pratikasham Sandhya Bhranika Vachasam Taptatamra Shikashmashrum Madhyanarko Gralochanam Dedipyamane Trishike Shula Aropyarodasi Nritantam Unnadantam Cha Chalayantang Padamahim Tari Gambhira Bhaktrena Pibata Cha Nabhastalam Lihata Jivayarkshani Grasata Bhuvanatrayam Mahatara Dradangstrena Jrimphamanam Mahor Virasta Druvur Loka Viksha Sarve Disho Dasha. It freezes every time I go back. Okay. Like arrows released in the four directions, the demon's body grew day after day. Tall and blackish, he appeared like a burnt hill and was as lustrous as a bright array of clouds in the evening. The hair on the demon's body and his beard and mustache were the color of melted copper, and his eyes were piercing like the midday sun. He appeared unconquerable, as if holding the three worlds on the point of his blazing trident. Whoa. Dancing and shouting with a loud voice, he made the entire surface of the earth tremble as if from an earthquake. As he yawned again and again, he seemed to be trying to swallow the whole sky with his mouth, which was as deep as a cave. He seemed to be licking up all the stars in the sky with his tongue and eating the entire universe with his long, sharp teeth. Seeing this gigantic demon, everyone, in great fear, ran here and there in all directions. That was a pretty awesome description. Looking up the stars in the sky with his tongue, eating the universe with his sharp, long teeth. When he yawns, he's trying to swallow the whole sky with his mouth. That's really awesome. Yena vritta ime lokas tapasa tvashta murtina savai vritra iti prokta papa paramadaruna. That very fearful demon, who is actually the son of Twashta, covered all the planetary systems by dint of austerity. Therefore, he was named Vritta, or one who covers everything. Purport. In the Vedas, it is said, Sa imal lokam avrinot tar vrittasya vitratvam. Because the demon covered all the planetary systems, his name was Vṛtāsura. Tam nijagnur abhidrutya sagana vibhudarshabha svai swar divyasta shastroghai sograsatani kritsnasha. The demigods, headed by Indra, charged the demon with their soldiers, striking him with their own transcendental bows and arrows and other weapons, but Vṛtāsura swallowed all their weapons. Tataste vismita sarve vishana grastate jasa pratyancham adipurusham upatastu samahita. Struck with wonderful, Oh, Rupanjari sent a photo. Let's check it out. Oh, that's an awesome photo. Download, open. Resolution's a little bit low though, but yeah, there it is. Awesome. Struck with wonder and disappointment upon seeing the strength of the demon, the demigods lost their own strength. Therefore, they all met together to try to please the Supersoul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, by worshipping him. Shrideva Uchu Vayavamparangapshiktayastriloka. God, that was difficult. Pramadayo ye vayam udvijanta Aramayasmai balamantakopso bibheti yasmar aranam tatona Vaim vamparagnyap. Whatever. The demigod said, "The three worlds are created by the five elements, namely ether, air, fire, water, and earth, which are controlled by various demigods, beginning from Lord Brahma. Being very much afraid that the time factor will end our existence, we offer our presentations unto time by performing our work as time dictates. The time factor himself, however, is afraid of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, let us now worship that Supreme Lord who alone can give us full protection." Purport. When one is afraid of being killed, one must take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is worshipped by all the demigods, beginning from Brahma, although they are in charge of the various elements of this material world. The words Bibheti Yasmat indicate that all the demons, regardless of how great and powerful, fear the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The demigods, being afraid of death, took shelter of the Lord and offered him these prayers. Although the time factor is fearful to everyone, fear personified is afraid of the Supreme Lord, who is therefore known as Abhay, fearless. Taking shelter of the Supreme Lord brings actual fearlessness, and therefore the demigods decided to take shelter of the Lord. Avismitam tang paripurna kamang svenaiva labhena samang prashantam vino pasarpatya param hibhalisha swalangulena tititartit sindhum. Atititarti means wants to cross the sindhum, the sea. Free from all material conceptions of existence and never wonderstruck by anything, the Lord is always jubilant and fully satisfied by his own spiritual perfection. He has no material designations, and therefore he is steady and unattached. That Supreme Personality of Godhead is the only shelter of everyone. Anyone desiring to be protected by others is certainly a great fool who desires to cross the sea by holding the tail of a dog. Purport. A dog can swim in the water, but if a dog dives into the ocean and someone wants to cross the ocean by holding the dog's tail, he is certainly fool number one. A dog cannot cross the ocean, nor can a person cross the ocean by catching a dog's tail. Similarly, one who desires to cross the ocean of nescience should not seek the shelter of any demigod or anyone else, but the fearless shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 10:14-58 therefore says, Samashita ye padapallava plavam mahatpadam punya yasho murare pavam buddhir ribatsa padam param padam 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 yad vipadam natesham. I like that. Padam param padam 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 vipadam natesham. The Lord's lotus feet are an indestructible boat, and if one takes shelter of that boat, he can easily cross the ocean of nescience. Consequently, there are no dangers for a devotee, although he lives within this material world, which is full of dangers at every step. One should seek the shelter of the all-powerful instead of trying to be protected by one's own concocted ideas. Yasyoru shringe jagatim sanavam manur yatabadya tatara durgam sa eva nastvashtara bhayadurantat tratashitam varicharopinunam. The Manu named King Satyavrat formerly saved himself by tying the small boats of the entire world to the horn of the Matsya avatar, the fish incarnation. By the grace of the Matsya avatar, Manu saved himself from the great danger of the flood. May that same fish incarnation save us from the great and fearful danger caused by the son of Twashta. Pura swayambhur apisamyamam bhas yudirnavator miravai karale ekor vindat patitas tatara tasmar bhayadyena sanostuparaha. In the beginning of creation, a tremendous wind caused fierce waves of inundating water. The great waves made such a horrible sound that Lord Brahma almost fell from his seat on the lotus into the water of devastation. But he was saved with the help of the Lord. Thus, we also expect the Lord to protect us from this dangerous condition. Ya eko isho nijamayayana sasarjayena yenanusrijama vishvam vayam nayasyapti pura samihata pashyama lingam pratagishamanina. It's interesting to hear about Brahma almost falling off his seat, isn't it, into the water of devastation. One second. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who created us by his external potency and by whose mercy we expand the creation of the universe, is always situated before us as the Supersoul. But we cannot see his form. We are unable to see him because all of us think that we are separate and independent gods. Purport. Here's an explanation of why the conditioned soul cannot see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. Even though the Lord appears before us as Lord Krishna or Lord Ramachandra and lives in human society as a leader or king, the conditioned soul cannot understand him. Avajananti mam mudha manusham tanum ashritam. Rascals, mudas, deride the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thinking him an ordinary human being. However insignificant we are, we think that we are also God, that we can create a universe, or that we can create another God. This is why we cannot see or understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this regard, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam says, Lingam eva pashyama kadachir abhimanastu devanam apisan eva praya kaleshu nastiva taratamyena sopi Taratamyena sopitu. We are all conditioned to various degrees, but we think that we are God. This is why we cannot understand who God is or see him face to face. Yona sapatnar brisham ardyamanam devarshitiryan rishunitya eva kritavatarastanobi samayaya kritvatmasat pati yuge yuge cha tameva devam vayamatma daivatam param pradhanam purusham vishwam anyam prajama sarve sharanam sharanyam swanam sanodasyati shang mahatma. By his inconceivable internal potency, the Supreme Personality of Godhead expands into various transcendental bodies, as Vamandev, the incarnation of strength among the demigods, Parshuram, the incarnation among saints, Nrsimhadev and Varaha, incarnations among animals, and Matsya and Kurma, incarnation among aquatics. Whatever. He accepts various transcendental bodies among all types of living entities, and among human beings, he especially appears as Lord Krishna and Lord Ram. By his causeless mercy, he protects the demigods who are always harassed by the demons. He is the supreme worshipable deity for all living entities. He is the supreme cause, represented as the male and female creative energies. Although different from this universe, he exists in his universal form, the Viṛtāsura. In our fearful condition, let us take shelter of him, for we are sure that the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Soul, will give us his protection. Purport. In this verse, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu is ascertained to be the original cause of creation. Sridhar Swami, in his commentary Bhavartha Dipika, replies to the idea that Prakriti and Purusha are the causes of the cosmic manifestation. As stated herein, Parang Pradhanam Purusham Vishwam Anyam. He is the supreme cause, represented as the male and female creative energies. Although different from this universe, he exists in his universal form, the Viṛtāsura. The word Prakriti, which is used to indicate the source of generation, refers to the material energy of the Supreme Lord, and the word Purusha refers to the living entities, who are the superior energy of the Lord. Both the Prakriti and Purusha ultimately enter the Supreme Lord, as stated in Bhagavad Gita, Prakritim yanti mamikam. Although Prakriti and Purusha superficially appear to be the causes of the material manifestation, both are emanations of different energies of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the Supreme Lord is the cause of Prakriti and Purusha. He is the original cause, Sarva Karana Karanam. The Naradiya Puran says, Avikara Piparama Prakritistu Vikarini Anupravrishya Govinda Prakritischabhidhiyate. Both the Prakriti and Purush, which are inferior and superior energies, are emanations from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As explained in Bhagavad Gita, Gam Avishya, the Lord enters the Prakriti, and then the Prakriti creates different manifestations. The Prakriti is not independent or beyond his energies. Vasudeva, Lord Shri Krishna, is the original cause of everything. Therefore, the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 10:8, Aham sarvasva prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. In Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 2:933, the Lord also says, Aham evasam eva gre. Only I existed before the creation. This is confirmed in the Brahmanda Puran as follows. Smritir avyavadhanena prakrititvam iti stiti ubhayatmaka sutitvad vasudeva parapuman prakriti purushascheti shabdareka vidhiyate. To generate the universe, the Lord acts indirectly as the Purusha and directly as the Prakriti. Because both energies emanate from Lord Vasudeva, the all-pervasive Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is known as both Prakriti and Purusha. Therefore, Vasudeva is the cause of everything, Sarva Karana Karanam. We have 3 minutes and 3 verses left. Shishuka Uvacha Hi Tesham Maharaja Suranam Upatishtatam Praticham Dishabur Avi Shanka Chakra Gadadara. Sri Shukadev Goswami said, My dear king, when all the demigods offered him their prayers, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Hari, carrying his weapons, the conch shell, disc, and club, appeared first within their hearts, and then before them. It's a line missing. Atmatulay Shudashabir Vina Srivatsa Kostubho Paryupasitamunidra Sharadam Buruhekshanam Trishtvatam Avano Sarva Ikshanahla Viklava Tandavat Patita Rajan Chanar Uttaya Tushtuhu. Surrounding and serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan were 16 personal attendants, decorated with ornaments and appearing exactly like him, but without the mark of Srivatsa and Kaustubha jewel. O king, when all the demigods saw the Supreme Lord in that posture, smiling with eyes like petals of lotuses grown in autumn, they were overwhelmed with happiness and immediately fell down like rods, offering dandavats. Then they slowly rose and pleased the Lord by offering him prayers. Purport. In Vaikuntha Loka, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has 4 hands and decorations like the Srivatsa mark on his chest and the gem known as Kaustubha. These are special indications of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord's personal attendants and other devotees in Vaikuntha have the same features except for the Srivatsa mark and the Kaustubha gem. Alright, so tomorrow we will hear the prayers of the demigods after the Lord's appearance, and the Lord instructs the demigods. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Arjuna Prabhu, what is used to prove a pure devotee can follow? I didn't notice anything like that. I probably just wasn't focusing enough while I was reading. Anyways, I'm curious. Alright. Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatara Shatashmad Shila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Vasai Maharaj Shila Gurudev Ki Jai Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatara Shatashmad Shila Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Vasai Maharaj Ki Jai Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatara Shatashmad Shila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatara Shatashmad Shila Bhakti Vigyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatara Shatashmad Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitil Pravishtam Mahabhagavat Shila Goksharas Babadi Maharaj Ki Jai Nitil Pravishta Shila Satchitaranda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Nitil Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shila Jagannath Das Babadi Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Dasha Raghunath Shar Gosai Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Shila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Braja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Sarva Abhishta Bharata Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Radha Kund Shama Kund Ki Jai Shri Muna Devi Kanda Devi Ki Jai Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya Ki Jai Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Parshva Akarashi Titi ki jai, Akarashi Titi Palan Samasta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavascha Krishna Bhakti Prada Devi Sattvatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams, all devotees. Yes, Pradyumna Prabhu, neither can I. Yeah, I'm super excited. For anybody who doesn't know, yeah, anyways, I'll put a post on my Facebook page about it. I think there's a website, One Chaitanya Family. But yeah, Sundar Gopal is going to be doing a very, he's going to be doing a presentation, which, anyways, yeah, you can see on the website. All right, Dandavat pranams, everybody. Pradyumna Bro? Yes.